Hi everyone, Karen here, and today I'm going to be making a trifold card using this little tractor from the little adventure set from Crafter's Companion. Now, the panels are going to look something along this lines, where we're going to have a tractor, some rocks, some dirt, and then this little barricade. Now, what we're going to need is you're going to need a piece of scrap gray, and that's to make your rocks. It can be any color gray you want. You're going to want 3 2 by 4 3/4. You're going to want 3 by 4 3/4. You're going to want 2 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and this is for your sky. So if you don't have paper that looks like sky, because this paper is from Home Away from Home, just get some white, take some blue ink around it, make it uneven so you have some lighter and some darker areas. You've seen me do that before, and just use that. So the card base is going to be a 10 by 7 scored at 5. That makes the 2 of the pieces. But to make the third piece, you're going to need a 5 1/4 by 7 scored down 1/4. Now, let's talk about the tractor a little bit. We have some pieces here. So this piece here is the main part of the tractor. That cuts out like this. And then you have a grate. Let me show you. Let's go and put this back. So this here makes the little grate piece. That's the little engine vent right here. This makes the smaller wheel. These 3 circles make the bigger wheel. That's the bucket, and that is the exhaust for the engine. This little die here is the headlight. And I will say you're going to want to pick up a tool to use that one, because that one is kind of tiny. So let's talk about how this goes together. Move that to the side. So we have our tractor piece. Let me move this over here. We have three pieces for the large wheel. There it is. We have 3 pieces for the smaller wheel. We have an exhaust. We have a grate. I have the 2 arms for the arms for the bucket, the little bucket, and I have a little headlight. Now you can see on these, I made a couple variations. This one has the bucket in the front with just 1 stick on it. This one has 1 bucket on the back with the 2 sticks, and the one in the front, which is just attached to the front because there is a little bit of a bumper there. This one, I trimmed it off. I just kind of cut it at an angle and made it into a snowplow. So this one, I'm thinking you could decorate for Christmas. Now this one here, I added a trailer to the back of it. Now this is basically just a rectangle with an angle cut on the top with the back wheel. This wheel here is the smaller front wheel, and I'm thinking this would be cute at Christmas. You could put a Christmas tree in here. If you wanted to do it at fall, you could put hay or pumpkins in here. This definitely could be a seasonal card. And then this one is just in another color, which I think we all recognize these colors. And so you don't have to use mirror card all the time. And this one just has the digger in the back without anything in the front. All right, so let's talk about how this goes together. So let me grab my glue. So I'm going to start here with the little wheel. I'm going to put a dot in the middle. Pick up this piece, put it in the middle. Put a dot again. Pick up the hubcap. That goes in the middle. Repeat for the bigger tire. And I'm just using plain gray for the white wall part. You absolutely could use any color you want for this, or not use it at all. Alright, so there's the tires. So let's talk about the tractor itself here. So I'm going to put a little glue here, and I'm going to put the grate down. This is the engine vents. That goes right there. Let me put a little more glue on here. All right. Now for the engine exhaust here, you'll notice one side is rounder than the other. So I've just been gluing down the flat side. I'm just going to put some glue on the bottom here. And I'm just going to place the tractor over it where I want it. And just pick it up. There we go. Now the front tire will just get glued on the front here. Now the back tire, if you look on the packaging, it shows it on the front. But if this is supposed to be the fender coming around, I like to put it on the back. So it looks more like a fender is coming all the way around the tire. Alright, put it on like that. Alright, now all that's left is the little headlight. So I'm just going to put a little glue on the headlight. And you may even want to use a pair of tweezers to hold it down. And I'm just going to lay this on top of it. Press down. Yep, and it's sticking to my finger. Alright, try that again. Alright, lay this down. And pick it up. There we go. So there's your tractor. Now for the bucket, you can either put a little bucket in the front, or you can attach the two sticks that are in the set. And this piece is this piece right here. Just attach these two at an angle, and whatever angle you choose, depending on how much room you have on your card. And this will get glued to the back of the tractor. And then your little bucket goes on the bottom. Like so. There you go. So this tractor goes together pretty easily. Alright, so let me move these up here. We'll decide which ones we're going to use. And I want to bring in my panels. So that is the 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And I have a 3 by 4 3/4 for each panel, and I have a 2 by 4 3/4 for each panel. Now notice these aren't straight across. Now what I want to do is I just want to cut a little bit off of each of these, and what you want to do is just not make it look even, because ground is never even, and if you are making ground or grass or anything like that and you keep it a straight line, it just isn't going to look as realistic as if you just put a tiny little curve on it, and then it just looks more like the ground. Alright, so let me grab a piece of scrap paper here, and we will start inking all of this up. Alright, so we have to ink all 4 of these. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to use Distressed Oxide, because this is a pigment ink, so it is going to cover over the brown. And I also have some water reactive jet black that I'm going to use to make this a little bit more tonal, so it's not just a flat brown for the dirt. So first I'm going to start with the black. I'm just going to ink this up. And I'm just kind of go in different, whoops, I want to use the other side. Go in different places just to kind of give this a little bit more of a tone. You can make it darker on the top. And this is linen paper, and the reason why I chose linen paper for this is it gives it a little bit more texture for when you're doing dirt. It just gives it a little bit more. So that looks good for that. Now we'll do this one. You can see the big difference here. But just putting that black on there just makes it look a little bit more like dirt. So we'll put some on here, and you do not have to be fussy about this. Alright, now the 2 bigger pieces. Go across the top. And some here. And the last one. There we go. That's all we need for the black. So now for the gray, let's go back and look at the panel I've already done. See how the gray is just along the top here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this on its side, and I'm just going to go across the top here. And just drag this across the top. Now the more you do it and the more of a flat angle you do it, you're going to get a thicker line on the top. You just want to do that till you have a little bit of a line. And it really shows up when you stack the two of them together. So it may not look like it's very obvious at first, but then when you put it up against the other color, it really does show up nicely. Alright, so there's that one. Now we'll do this one. And a rather small one. Alright, and that is done for that. Alright, for this next part, we're going to need a little bit of foam and some glue. So now I'm going to, let's get these lined up. You need one of each for each side. Now what I want to do here, and I know you've seen me do this before, is I want to take a little bit of foam, and this is just the 1/16 foam, and I'm going to put this across the top, but I'm not going to put it across the bottom. So I'm going to peel this paper off, and I'm going to put glue across the bottom here. Then I'm going to line this up with the taller piece, which was the 3-inch one. Make sure we're nice and flush. Here we go. I'm going to press down. Now what this does is it grounds the bottom of your card to where it doesn't look like it's floaty, but it now gives you a nice little edge in your road to make it look dimensional. So when we glue this to the background, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put a piece of foam on the top, across here, and we're going to glue the rest of it down flat. So now we just need to do the same thing for the other side. Alright, so now we're ready to attach these to the panels. So we'll put glue on the bottom. And pull the paper off the tape on the top. And this will get lined up flush with the bottom. Like that. And repeat on the other side. So now we can decide what tractors we want to put on here. Now I have a couple to choose from here. Now this is going to be the first panel. And then we have tractors to put on the second one. So let's say, now this one is a little bit big. And it might be a little big to put on this one. It does kind of fit, but it's kind of a tight squeeze. This one would be better for a landscape card. So I'm thinking I want to use the regular bulldozer. And I think I will use this one. Now, I need to put some rocks on here. Now, here are some rocks I already cut. I'll show you how I did these in a second. So these will go on a panel here. Or you can even put them down here and put a couple down here. Doesn't really matter. Let me scoot this up for a second. Show you how I made the rocks. So I'm going to take that piece of scrap gray that I have, and I'm just going to cut some very uneven circles. Could be any size, any shape. And I'm just going to cut a bunch. Maybe one really big one. And one like that. Maybe I'll cut one more just in case I want it. Okay, so that's it. So I'm going to bring my scrap back in for a second. I'm going to line on my little rocks up here. I'm going to bring in the black and just kind of smush over them for a second. Not doing anything fancy here. Just kind of put a little black on there just to give them a little uneven coloring. And that's all it takes for the rocks. Now let's talk about these, the little barricades. So I made this by taking the little arm here, folded it in half, and I glued it together. And let that grab for a second. Now I'm going to make another one for the other side. Fold it in half at an angle, like that. Glue the two pieces together. Give that a second to grab. Now I'm going to take a black marker, and I'm just going to take the chisel end, and I'm just going to go at an angle across like that. And I'm going to make 3. Just like that. Now I'm going to flip this over. Actually, no, I think I will glue the glue there. Pick that up. Put some glue on this side. And pick that up. And that is all there is to it, to make it a little barricade. So now we have barricades and we have rocks. So let's go ahead and lay the rest of this out. Let's see. So what do we want to do? Let's move our extra ones up here. So I don't want them all to be exactly the same. So I think maybe I'll put a barricade over here and some rocks. And maybe I'll put the barricade over on this side, so maybe they'll look like they're next to each other. Let's see, we can have some rocks over here. And just kind of arrange them the way you want. Just remember that the widest part of however you cut it would kind of be laying on the ground. So it's either going to be standing upright like this, with one in front of it like this. Put it along there. We can put one in the bucket to make it look like it's carrying the rock around. That's fun. And just something along these lines. That's really all you need to do. So maybe I'll put this one up here. That looks a little plain up there. And then shift these over a little bit. I think that looks good. Alright, so now we need to decide also where I'm going to put the messaging. So I have Digging Up Birthday Fun, and I just printed that on my computer. And I am going to use some foam to put behind this. Put a little piece here. And a piece over here. And I did this on my Cameo. So I just printed up the words I wanted and made a shadow for it. They call it an offset. It's basically a shadow. And we'll put this together. And that will be on the front of the card here. And then for the inside of the card, I have wishing you a birthday full of scoops of cake and loads of laughter. You're the foreman of fun today. I thought that would be fun. So this, I think, I will just glue down. Now this is a little bit bigger, so I have to decide where this is going to go before I glue everything down. 'Cause actually, that might take up a lot of the space up here. Yeah, I definitely want to put him in the sky. So he'll be over here. The little tractor will come over here. I may even want to put the tractor on the second row here. I think I do. I'm going to do it this way. Give that a little bit more room there. Yeah, I think so. I think we want to lay it out like that. All right, let's get everything glued down. Now I do have some skinny 1/16 foam that I think some of this is going to go up on foam. So let's see, so we have 2 rocks here. So I'm going to glue 1 rock down. That will glue like that. Let's see, turn that a little bit that way. And this other rock, I'm only going to put glue on the bottom piece, and I have a little bit of foam on the top. And we'll just glue this down like that. Hold it for a second. There we go. This rock here, I think I'll just glue down. That's going to be sitting there. Now the little barricade here, I do want the top of the barricade to stick out a little bit, so I'm going to put just a little bit of foam across the top here. Actually going to cut this down. This barricade is not very big, but we'll just put that on top. Peel that off. And we'll glue down the legs. And we'll slide that in here. Now the little tractor, because it's supposed to look like it's sitting on the road, it's just going to go on flat. So put glue on all the various parts. This will go in here. That looks like that's on the road. There we go. Now we'll do this one. We'll do the same. This rock. I think I am going to turn this rock on its side. I don't think I liked it upright. That one will go down. I will stick a little piece of foam on the top of this one. Give it a little bend. And some glue. Kind of hold that there for a second. I'm going to take another little piece, put it on top. Now, of course, you could glue all these down flat if you wanted to. And put this one here. Hold it for a second. All right. Now for this tractor, I'm not going to put glue on the top. I'm only going to put it on this bottom piece here. So this top part will kind of hang off, because it needs to look like it's on the second layer here. Let's slide him back in. Make him look like he's on the road. Didn't put any glue up here. And I will slide this in here before that dries. So that's in the bucket. I take the other little skinny piece of foam, put it across here. glue here. Take that off. This will come down here. Alright. And wishing you a birthday full of scoops of cake will come up here on the top. And we're going to put that at an angle. Alright, so now let's get our card base put together and this card will be finished. So let me put these up here while they dry. Whoops, I didn't put this on. Alright, put some glue on here. And this one will come this way. Alright. So now we have our regular 5x7 card base, which is 10 by 7 scored at 5. So that gives you 1/4 of an inch. So score that down 1/4 of an inch down the side. So now we're going to put some glue on the 1/4 inch that you scored. And this is just going to go together like this. Going to line that up. Make sure that's all nice together there. Give that a good rub. Alright. Alright, so once you've given this a chance to dry, then you can go ahead and fold it. Just want to make sure you have it the directions you want it to go. Because I want this card to stand up like this. So I'm going to put the panel here, here, and here. So this panel will go here. This one's going to go here, and this one will go in the end, like that. Alright, so let's get these glued down. I'm just going to use Call glue here because that gives me a second to get everything all nice and centered. It doesn't grab right away. So this will all come here, like that. Now this will be our next one. Now you could, if you wanted to, take the black, and if you want to go over the edge a little bit, just to make it look like it's a little bit more dirty, you absolutely could. Just kind of go around. But that is it. So this all folds up together. Digging up, birthday fun, with our 3 tractors, and then it would stand up like this. So I hope you enjoyed this card. If you did, give me a thumbs up. And please consider subscribing to my channel because every week I will have more cards. And until next time, stay crafty.